Often when we want to achieve a new goal, a new and better result, we look for a new program, a new set of habits to do. But often we don't consider the habits we should actually stop doing that are holding us back. Many of these habits we hold on to because they worked for our previous goals, say for weight loss or fat loss. But when our focus changes, our habits need to shift as well. And to gain muscle, we can't repeat the same habits that worked for weight loss. Gaining muscle means embracing habit changes. That's why I wanted to share 5 habits many of us excuse that we actually need to stop doing if we want to gain more muscle. Number 1, working out every day. But I love to work out every day. I feel guilty if I don't do something every day. Many of us have said these statements as an excuse to train every day. And while we may get away with it more in a fat loss phase, even then this mindset backfires. Our body rebuilds and functions optimally when it has time to rest and rebuild. You need quality recovery. You need proper fueling. You need quality sleep. You need days where your body and mind can relax and repair so you're prepped to push hard in following training sessions. Make sure that you're designing your workout progressions to give areas rest over the course of the week and even cycling your training intensity. Getting results doesn't have to mean and shouldn't mean destroying ourselves every session. Especially as we get older, our recovery times can increase. This means designing programs strategically to account for this. While it doesn't mean we still can't train 5 to 6 days a week, the way we break up our sessions and the volume we create may vary. And remember, it isn't just your body, but also your mind that actually needs the recovery time. It is fatiguing really trying to mentally push yourself every workout to create that progression you need to see results. You want to be focused and intentional with every training session, not just go through the motions. We have to recognize how taxing mentally that a hard workout session is, especially combined with a stressful day. Give yourself time to rest and recover so every session is quality. We rebuild when we rest, and that's how we see those muscle gains. Number 2, changing your workouts up constantly. While it can be fun to do different things often, we need to design a clear progression to follow if we want to see results. Changing up our workouts constantly doesn't allow us to be strategic in how we push and get the full benefit of each move. It can also make us constantly sore, which can negatively impact muscle activation and subsequent training sessions. Include a variety of movements to work muscles in different ways over the course of the week, but clearly lay out a progression you repeat for a few weeks. How long you repeat a progression may depend on how much room for growth you have with the moves, how much you find ego starts to get in the way when you're hitting your upper limit with an exercise, like encouraging yourself to lift more than you probably should with form that isn't ideal, or how much you do even find your mental focus drifting as you get bored with the moves. Progressions don't have to be done for months upon months. Just remember too that being able to push and see how far you can go with an exercise can be exciting. Over time, you can test out different workout designs and movements, but without repeating a set progression for a bit, you can't know what does and doesn't work. It allows you to actually see yourself progressing with 1 extra rep, 5 more pounds, or even that full pull-up when you couldn't do one prior. But that progression is needed if you want to dial in those muscle gains efficiently, so you're actually truly progressing moves and not just making yourself sore with different and new. Because soreness really isn't an indicator that you're building more muscle, especially not more muscle faster. Number 3, staying in your comfort zone. It can honestly be hard to push every training session. While training is fun in a torturous way, it is at times mentally and physically hard and uncomfortable to push for another rep, or to use a bit more weight we aren't sure will go up for that final rep. Do that new variation even that really challenges us. It's easy to keep repeating the same exercise variations with the same loads for the same reps or same sets of time. But muscle growth is a result of challenging our body to have to adapt and repair to become stronger. That means we need to focus on that progression in our loads, tempos, variations, training densities. Sometimes it may mean 1 more rep and 1 more set. Sometimes it may be just 5 more pounds. Sometimes it may be moving on to a different tempo or posture or position for a move to use progression through the same but different. This though is also why a clear workout progression schedule is key. It allows us to make those incremental adjustments to push yourself outside our comfort zone each and every week. And over those progressions, we also can't fear testing out new workout designs and training methods. Especially the more advanced the training we are, the slower our results will be, so the more advanced strategies, training techniques, and workout designs we may need to use at times. Not only to challenge our body, but also to keep us wanting to push mentally with something new in our workouts. You may experiment with things like rest-pause technique, drop sets, density training. It isn't just loads we can use to challenge our body and push ourselves outside what is comfortable to create that muscle growth and change. Number 4, going low carb. So I've talked a ton about training so far, and it's because you can't build muscle without a proper training routine and resistance to create growth. While weight loss and fat loss are so much about diet, building muscle requires you to train in a way that forces your body to adapt and build back stronger. However, our diet can't be ignored if we want the best results from those intensive training sessions. We don't want our hard work in the gym to be wasted. That's why it's key we give our body the fuel it needs to rebuild and repair and have the energy to train hard. And carbs are truly a key part of having that readily available energy to not only push hard during your sessions, but rebuild post-workout. They create that anabolic environment optimal for muscle growth. Carbs are not only that immediate energy to be able to push at our full intensity during training and create the progressive overload, but they are also protein sparing. They protect your lean muscle from being catabolized or used as fuel, and they can help make sure that the protein you consume is used to actually rebuild. This is extra key if you're an endurance athlete or enjoy steady-state cardio and refuse to fully cut back on mileage. Cardio already makes it harder to build and retain lean muscle, so carbs are even more key to serve as that immediate energy source and aid in our recovery. So while you may have dropped your carbs during your weight loss cycle, you may now find boosting them to be extremely key. Too often we keep ourselves in that energy deficit and then wonder why we aren't gaining muscle. But growth can't truly happen when we don't have the fuel to repair and even optimize hormone levels. So increase those carbs. Even if you start by just timing more carbs around your training sessions, you can't fear carbs if you want the most efficient muscle gains. Number 5, staying in a calorie deficit. Just like we may have cut carbs during a fat loss phase, we often focus on the calorie deficit to see results. You do need to consume less than you expend to see that fat loss because you need to tap into that stored energy. But to gain muscle as efficiently as possible, you now need to make sure your body always has the fuel it needs. So you can't fear eating more. Eating too little will keep you training really hard and not seeing any gains. It can also lead to burnout, constant fatigue, constant soreness, and an inability to recover. Basically, you feel like you're working so hard to literally not see any improvements. If you're transitioning out of a fat loss phase, you may simply start by increasing your calories to more of a maintenance level while increasing carbs. From there, you may enter a small surplus. Eating more doesn't give you an excuse to go crazy. If you do a dirty bulk and skyrocket your calories, you're going to gain fat and ultimately not really see better results faster. A surplus as little as 100 calories may be enough, although you may find you need to increase up to 400 calories above maintenance. This is why it may be helpful to do a maintenance phase prior to learn what you need to maintain your current body composition. By focusing on protein and not ignoring this essential macro, you can even gain muscle while in a deficit, so a slower transition, increasing calories can help you avoid gaining fat. But we have to remember that the leaner we get, and the more we aren't eating sufficiently to fuel our training, the more we put ourselves at risk for losing muscle, even with higher protein ratios. You need that fuel to grow those muscles. And making sure that you're eating enough is essential even as we enter menopause. Often underfueling and extreme dieting practices can create metabolic adaptations, which hold us back from not only losing fat, but gaining muscle as we enter menopause. So focusing on increasing your calorie intake and building muscle is key as we get older to keep our metabolic rate higher. Just remember, because you could get away with something when you were younger, doesn't mean it won't catch up with you as you get older. If you're perimenopausal or nearing that age, really focus on making sure you're building that lean muscle and not undereating, or you could be setting yourself up for unwanted fat gain and muscle loss as you get older. So if you're looking to build muscle as quickly as possible, it's key you change your habits, especially from the habits you use to lose weight. Focus on challenging yourself with your training and eating enough to support that muscle growth. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, comment below if you have any questions, and subscribe. We're posting new videos each week.